Hey, what's up guys? Chris Baker here with another episode of Matt Justice's homemade sauna tent. Now I want to tell you guys, I've been using the sauna and it is working great. I will tell you when it is time, I will be ready to invest in upgrading because this tent does have its downside. I did add another light bulb and I want to show you guys a little bit more about my configuration. I have the remote that turns on and off the lamps. It's all very easy to set up. It's all there in Matt Justice's video, but I just want to show you guys my setup. I also want to walk you through how I burnt myself, and not delightful, actually a really pretty bad burn, which you can see here. And so that is that. I'm going to take you into the sauna, show you what I have cooking in there, and spend a little more time with you if you're struggling with chronic illness, high levels of toxicity, whether it's mold, metals, Lyme disease, or anything else. We live in a very toxic society. Our foods are toxic, our processed foods are toxic, our guts are out of order. We have dysbiosis, we have leaky gut, leads to irritable bowel, all types of inflammatory conditions. This is down the gamut, whether you're dealing with Lyme disease, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, arthritis, you name it. We need a different way of doing things today. And that is why we have alternative medicine, we have alternative medicine practitioners, and true healing is possible. So I'll leave you with that. We'll take you right into the sauna and show you what I've done to add another light bulb. As I mentioned, the sauna tent is like so. You can see that I've got it unzipped as I'm getting ready to go inside. It does have a window so you can see out. I'll show you one of the downsides to getting in and out of this is that the zipper is on the outside. So you have to deal with that when it comes to using the sauna. And as I mentioned in my first episode, what I've got here are these two 250 watt Philips infrared light bulbs, and then the one up here, that was the original configuration Matt recommended. I do want to show you right here, each of these lamps does have an on and off switch, which is very easy to access, and you could just simply turn them on or off. And I find that using that is actually really beneficial because sometimes it can get very hot in the sauna. And one of the things that you do want to be able to do, is turn on and off some of the lights. I've utilized my little rack up here so that I can put gloves in there if I want to move the lamps around. I want to use gloves or something to protect my hands because obviously these lights and the light fixtures that they are in do get very, very hot, and like I said, can burn. This is actually the light that I smudge. If you can see that smudge, that's actually my burnt skin on the light. So not pleasant and not pleasurable at all, but that is what happens when you're not mindful. Now I'm using this stool here, and I have a couple towels. I like to sit on a towel as well as have one to dry myself off during the sauna because obviously it does get hot. So let's go ahead and jump in and enjoy a sauna session. So now that I'm in the sauna, I want to go ahead and zip up the outside zipper, and I'm going to show you what that looks like because it's a little bit of a process. Alright, so I'm in it, and as you can see, it's completely unzipped. Now I want to be mindful because the lights are right here, and if I'm clothed down, it's an easy way to burn oneself, and that's one of the dangers of this particular sauna setup. So up here, I want to hold this up, see if I can do it with the camera, whilst zipping at the same time. See, I'm going to come down here, and I want to be careful again of that light because it's so close. There we go. And I leave it a little cracked at the bottom. That way it's just easier to get access to it when it's time to unzip or get out. Now that I'm in here, I want to show you guys the remote control configuration that I have. Alright, so you might have seen this if you did get over to certifiedsaunas.com. Matt Justice has a $9.99 video that you can buy. It is actually a course, and it walks you through multiple modules. Of course, it's all homemade, but one of the things he throws in there is this guy. You can get it on Amazon. I'm not sure of the exact price of it. I think it was $20 or $30 for 6 outlets. You can see on here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 5? Maybe, I'm sorry, 5 outlets that can be controlled from this controller, and obviously each number on the controller corresponds to the light that you have plugged into it. Now, the way that I have this particular sauna configured is that the 2 lights that are down below me on my backside, I have to reposition that light. That's a new one that went in today. What I want to do is I've got those hooked up to the number 1 on here. So if I hit the number 1 off, that's actually going to eliminate those lights behind me. And as you can see, I could set up each individual light bulb on each individual number. But for ease of in purpose, I figure it's just as easy. What I can do is also manually, like I said, turn them on and off with the switch that each light has in here. And of course, I'm using an extension cord as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. And I want to go ahead and show you the extra light bulb I've got in here. So now I've got 1250 watts, which I'm obviously helped me sweat a little bit more. What I wanted to do is position one down by my feet and my calves, because I find that when I'm detoxing, what is happening is that in Chinese medicine there are a lot of points, and there are kidney points, spleen points, liver points, so on and so forth, all the way down the leg into the feet. And basically, I'm starting to sweat a little bit, which is great. Basically what I find is that because I have kidney stagnation, liver stagnation, spleen, a slow sluggish spleen, gallbladder, these are all areas where when you're highly toxic, these organs are slowed down, or even in some cases very sluggish or shut down, and that's what leads to chronic disease. So we want to open up these channels, get them breathing, get them opened up, get them detoxing, and we want to extract out the toxins. And so obviously infrared sauna is a great way to do that. And there are other things that I find that are very powerful for me as well. Ionic foot baths are fantastic. Obviously you have to do your research and find the right one, but those you soak your feet in. It's a machine, and it pulls perhaps I'll do another video on that, but it pulls toxins, metals, and other toxins. There's a full list of them out of the feet. And some people say that it's hogwash, and it's but I have actually tested it. I've put people in there where the water barely changed color. When I do it, like you can see in my eyes, I'm detoxing right now. There's a lot of gunk that comes out. So I think all of this stuff is good. Obviously, we have to have a belief system that works for us to heal, because if we don't have belief and faith of any kind, it's going to be hard to encourage our cells to want to believe they can heal as well. And that's what we're trying to get to, is to get our cells in our body to be revived, to be restored, for the old ones to die off, the new ones to regenerate and give us long-lasting life. So let me go ahead and show you that other light bulb that I installed. I'm not facing that direction, so when I turn around, I'll do the video in that direction, and we'll go from there. One other thing that I'll show about this is that I've got the lights, I've got them clamped on but I am using the Velcro um, uh, straps to hold them in place just in case the light mount somehow slips off or falls. It also helps just to hang in there and reposition. So you want to definitely use those Velcro. It's not the best approach, and I haven't experimented with doing it more, and I probably will. And also I wanted to just show you the lines. I do also Velcro the lines, and I've got them hooked up here to the extension cord that runs through one of the hole vents in the tent. And you can see I'm using another strap down there for this line on this particular light here. I've got the Velcro straps in there just to give you a really close-up of what that looks like. And of course these are adjustable, these lights. I'll show you how they're adjustable if you use a glove. It's better to put the glove on. So if you're, let's say you're targeting your GI tract or something along those natures, if I see where this light is coming, I can actually see this light coming into my body. I can actually feel it. So I could target, for example, this is on the right side of my body. I could target this lamp to my liver, which can obviously target the area of detox. And that's what's interesting about having these lights, is you can position them wherever you want. And then if you're in the sauna, and let's say you wanted to shoot this down a little bit and have it more warming your legs, you can do that. That's where I'm wearing a glove, and no harm, no foul, as long as I don't touch the light. Another thing to consider too is we don't want to be staring into these lights. It's not necessarily the best for the eyes. It can actually damage the eyes. But a little bit of exposure is probably not a big deal. And I do have glasses that I wear for that. So yeah, I will find that at different times I do reposition these lights. That's why I do like to carry some kind of glove that's a protective. You could even use a little towel, and that'll protect you from getting any kind of burn. Another thing I want to point out is that hydration is key, keeping the body hydrated. And you will notice that when you start doing saunas, your body will naturally call for water, and you'll find at times you're guzzling it. One of the things about chronic toxicity, Lyme, is that not only is sometimes our windpipes, our lungs starved for air, a lot of people with Lyme disease report air starvation, like they can't breathe deeply or properly. That is something that happens when our systems, our organs are being attacked. And so it's important to be hydrated. My go-to for electrolytes is coconut water. I love the Naked brand. It's I'll have to get the brand. I'll put it down in the link. But it's one of the best ones out there. It's also kind of pricey. It's like $5 a 16-ounce bottle. But it is got so much good stuff in it. And that's the other thing too. If you are fighting chronic issues, inflammatory issues or what have you, a low sugar or no sugar diet is ideal. And I don't mean that when it comes to fruit, but I do mean that when it comes to even things like maple syrup, honey, things that are sometimes so-called good for us. I just find that my body reacts to sometimes the most minimal amounts of things like that. So I've got to be really careful with how much I put in my body. And the same thing goes for a whole slew of other foods, because our guts, our digestive systems, our digestive tracts, our GI tracts are just flooded with toxins, and our gut microbiome is disrupted. And this is part of the repairing process. As we detoxify, we also need to be repairing. But back to having water on hand is a great idea. You can put some Himalayan salt in it. That'll give you electrolytes as well. And sometimes my body just calls for regular natural spring water is really good to drink. And that's pretty much all I drink. I don't drink tap or well water because of the metal contents tend to be higher. And sometimes the purification process is not always the best, especially if you live in the city. So that is something to think about as well. So I went ahead and added in, this is the other side where I only have 2 lights, and originally I only had 1 light, which was this one, and I added in, and I bought 2 more. So this one is directed at my feet. That way I can get heat on my feet. It's one of the things I find is that in my condition, I don't get a lot of blood flow to my legs and to my feet, and so that's something that I have to constantly work on. So by adding this lamp in, that helps bring some circulation to my feet, whereas the other lights are working on my upper body, getting my organs moving, and so on and so forth. So I've been starting to drip. I'm about 12 minutes into the sauna, maybe 15. I haven't been perfectly counting, but I've switched around. So I wanted to show you the extra light that I added in so that you could have a look at what that looks like. So when it comes to healing, my personal story, I'm in this about 10-11 years, but it took me more than 5 years to figure out that I was fighting something that was clearly a pathogen, and clearly something that was bacterial or viral, that was making it really difficult for me to function on even the most basic levels. So as I said, I switched. So I've got the 1 light up there and the 2 lights back there, and I love those lights back there because those are working on my low back, those are working on my kidneys, my adrenals, getting those areas flowing. And I will say one of the benefits about the infrared sauna is that it's actually heating you from the inside out. So it's warming your core body temperature, which actually makes your blood flow, and makes you it opens you up more to breathing deeper, to stretching, to just getting more inside of your body. So one of the things that I love to do when I'm in here is to pray or to practice gratitude, and just sort of sometimes close my eyes and thank God, thank the people around me. I thank people like Matt Justice, who are putting their heart on the line, and their knowledge and their ability, and they're showing other people how to do things, how to improve their life and heal. And there's just so many people that I feel I could thank on my journey, because really I went to the dire straits, and I went to some of the hardest places I think anyone would have to go to, nearing homelessness, losing my father in a motorcycle accident in the midst of my downturn, losing my business, and basically losing everything that I had. And I won't say that I had it all together ever, because I didn't. There was a lot of healing that I had to do. Back to the death of my mother when I was 3, there's just a lot of healing that takes time, and it takes the spiritual approach, and these things happen on an energetic level. And as you can see here in the sauna, we are definitely experiencing the energy from this light, from these lamps that are infusing us, making us drip, making us pull out these toxins out of our skin and flush them out, and hopefully replenish your body with good things so that it can heal. This is the ultimate approach. Flushing, and sometimes very gingerly, taking your time, learning what works for you, and then obviously inputting better things, good things, hopefully not the things that got you there in the first place, the high sugar diets, the high fat, the cigarettes, or marijuana, or whatever it may be in your case. There are a lot of bad things, even environmentally. Sometimes when we're stricken down with a disease, our our systems are much more susceptible to picking up toxins. Whether you drive by a gas station and you inhale a breath, sometimes that goes straight into your system, and you have to now flush that out. Not to mention a whole host of other things. So that's just 2 cents. I'm going to continue enjoying this sauna. I'm going to go into a little bit of gratitude practice and just also listen to my breath, watching the breath in my body flow in through my nostrils and out through my mouth, pushing the air out, breathing in, filling the body with oxygen, triggering the autonomic nervous system to wake up and to flood the body with positive energy, positive goodness that helps to awaken the senses. Sometimes the neck opens up just because the heat. I have a lot of tension in my back and my neck. Sometimes that heat as toxins come out. And the circulation is getting better. Sometimes I have a neck crack. Sometimes it all opens up. There are other things that can really bring it down too. High sugars, for me even bananas, are too sugary. And it's a type of sugar that I don't do well with, whereas apples, pears, I do really well with those types of things, and other root vegetables, beets, carrots, mangoes are a good fruit to eat. So there's a lot of good nutritious nutrients out there. If we could shut down our mind from the old ways of doing things, we could really move forward in a healthy manner. So as we near the sauna session, we can see the hair is definitely wet. I got a towel that's basically wet from all my sweat, and that's a really good sign that we're having a good sweat. And we don't want to overdo it as to flush out too many toxins, because, well, our body's healing and it's not necessarily in a place to regenerate all the positive nutrients that we need without help from supplements and diet. And if we overdo it, well, that can be a consequence that we have to face, and we face exhaustion, depletion, and we have to rest through those periods. So another thing I wanted to point out too is I love music. I love having music, whether it's meditation or peaceful piano music like I have on right now. It all helps to just kind of calm things down and enjoy the time. So the last thing I'll do is show you the cleanup process that I do, and we'll finish it up there. Alright, so as we are in the sauna session, as I said, sometimes when the heat gets too hot, it's time to turn it down a little bit before we finalize it all together. So I've got these ones behind me on number 2. I hit the number 2 off, and that's going to kill those lights behind me, so I got nothing on me from behind. But what I still do have are the lights in front. And so sometimes I like to leave these on just to calm it down. Have this on the front side, and the ones in the back are off now, and that just gives my body a chance to sort of reset, recalibrate, and just cool down a little bit. It's also a good idea to let the lights cool down a bit, because as I mentioned last time, I think I left the lights on when I was cleaning. Bad idea. Those lights are very hot. They will burn right through the top layer or 2 of your skin. If you left it there long enough, it probably burned through all 3. And so good idea to just shut everything off, kind of cool down, and then do the wipe down thereafter. So I did say that I would show you. It's a little tricky to get out of this thing. Basically, What you want to do is reach in on the inside, use the finger, and just slide without touching the hot lamp, ideally. Slide it up, and you're good to go. And you're out. So I did want to show you this last cleaning part. I just take this Myers and spray all the floors. Give it a nice little bit. Spray down the sides. And I'll come in here with the cloth and wipe everything down, and that just keeps it nice and sanitary. Any kind of cleaner that's natural is probably okay.